warrior tried inspiring his troops, but their defeat plagued them. He knew his battlefield mistake and how to correct it. He just needed to physically get to the area of Yamato. A caw sounded in the sky, and a black bird appeared. The bird was Asia's three-legged crow, and this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 96, Asia's Three-Legged Crow. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro, a native Hawaiian professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek. You can support us by getting 2 or 3 of your friends to listen to our show. This simple request goes a long way in helping us grow our show. And a big mahalo nui loa to our Patreon members whose support keeps our show going. Also, aloha to those of you listening to us on Audible and Amazon Music. Welcome to our little ohana, and please consider giving our show a rating and review. Mahalo nui loa to David, who's already done that. Later in this episode, your featured song and Hawaiian word, but first, let me share with you the three-legged crow. While you may know the Game of Thrones three-eyed raven or the Simpsons three-eyed fish Blinky, bonus points if you knew its name, there may have actually been a three-legged crow. Respected throughout Japan, China, and Korea, the three-legged crow represented many things. In Japan, it is known as Yatagarasu, or 8-span crow. The number 8 is because Asian cultures consider 8 a divine and supreme number. The three-legged crow was considered a symbol of rebirth and rejuvenation because it cleaned up battlefields, and its legs were believed to represent heaven, earth, and humanity, or the 3 times of day, dawn, noon, and dusk, or the godlike characteristics of wisdom, benevolence, and courage. While it was seen in art and the Shinto belief, the three-legged crow was considered a messenger of divine intervention. Our opening story touched on how the crow guided Japan's first emperor to Yamato. This occurred around 660 BCE and added the title A Symbol of Guidance to the crow's already large list of titles. If crows being messengers sounds familiar, it may be because that's how they aided the Norse god Odin. Switching to China, Neolithic pottery from around 5000 BCE depicted the three-legged crow as the soul of the sun. For the record, the frog was the soul of the moon. China's sun crow eventually changed to a golden crow, which was the opposite of the Greek god Apollo, who had a white crow that he made black after it upset him. But I digress. Korea also connected the three-legged crow with the sun, and a turtle was with the moon. Korea considered the three-legged crow more powerful than the dragon and phoenix, which sometimes flanked the crow in illustrations. As a side note, in 650 CE, Japanese envoys returned from China with a dead three-legged crow. So maybe it's a cryptid, or P.T. Barnum went back in time. The Chinese sun goddess had 10 sun children, who were three-legged crows. Every morning she'd bathe them in the river, and they'd fly into the mulberry tree. One would fly into the sky and be that day's sun, while another dove into the underworld to be that realm's sun. One day something got their attention, and the birds remaining in the mulberry tree filled the sky. Their heat baked the lands, wilted vegetation, and dried bodies of water. Their parents couldn't stop them, and the emperor was displeased. As drought ravaged the lands, everyone agreed the realm's best archer was their only salvation. The parents wept as their sons were killed and the world was plunged into darkness. As everyone bundled against the chill, the horizon glowed. Their remaining son who traversed the underworld missed the disaster. Our closing story may have lined up with the worldwide catastrophe known as the 4.2 kiloyear event, where a severe climactic event affected all 7 continents, lasted the entire 22nd century BCE, and toppled kingdoms. Now, I said may have because not all scientists agree, but if it did, our closing story may have been used to explain what happened. Today, the 3-legged crow appears in various manga, anime, and the like. Astronomer Takao Kobayashi found and named an asteroid Yatagarasu, which was registered in 2004. It is also believed the 3 legs represent the Japanese clans of Ui, Suzuki, and Inamoto, whose crests display the 3-legged crow. Speaking of crests, the crow is seen in various badges and logos, including several soccer or football teams. Clubs. You know what I mean. I always enjoy finding stories that share elements between Western and Eastern cultures. But how about that 4.2 kiloyear event? Can you imagine experiencing a 100-year climactic event? That'd be crazy. So while researching this episode, I discovered the Japanese practice of divining a good harvest from crows eating rice cakes. This ritual is called Karasu Kanjo. Talk about unusual, huh? If you like what you heard, please give us a rating and write a review. I'd really appreciate it. A big mahalo nui loa to our listener, Rebecca Hooper. Rebecca posted an Instagram pic of her in our Legends from the Pacific shirt. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for sharing your support of our show. You too can show your support by purchasing our merch through our show links. And please let me know about your social media posts. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects are by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is Why Alua by Ian O'Sullivan, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is alala. Alala means crow. An example of alala is scarecrows keep alala away. Once again, alala is Hawaiian for crow. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and a hui ho!